How's it going, everybody? So initially I had not planned to even address this in the video, as we usually get a Warriors Den with details 1 week before season's launch. I would have just sat it out and waited until that one, but people kept bringing it up. So what am I talking about? Ubisoft released their recent roadmap at the beginning of June, and we are looking at the date of a new testing ground. And the picture of the testing ground features 2 heroes, Kensei and Warden. Which, quite frankly, is a little bit of a surprise. All testing grounds so far involved hero changes in some capacity at least, and the roadmap usually displayed the heroes that do get the rework. Shaolin and Kong were on it last time, so I guess that's what we're getting. I didn't question it too much. I then made a poll on my community page here on YouTube asking whether people are happy with Ubisoft's choice. And the answer honestly surprised me. Right now, at the moment of me recording this, 35% of you guys are happy with the choice of Warden and Kensei. What are all the Lawbringer mains foaming at their mouth for not being next? They've only been S tier for 4 years, it's time to be at the top again. Or George players, how are you guys not totally losing it over this? Because the way I worded the poll, I would have without a doubt answered with no. No, I'm not happy with the choice of Warden and Kensei. But let me elaborate here and explain my way of thinking when it comes to reworking heroes. A question first. Could Warden and Kensei use some changes? Without a question, small changes and a tweak here and there would be very nice. Call them quality of life changes or whatever, doesn't really matter. I'm planning to do a video soon talking about how new heroes and reworks do set new standards each and every time, so all the reworks and non-rework characters fall behind more and more with that. And Kensei is a great example with this. Having been praised as the perfect rework when it came out all these years ago, and people still somehow cling to that statement. Once we revisit that statement itself and look at the situation again, it might not even hold up all that well, even for that time back then. So every time someone mentions this, when Kensei is being discussed on Reddit, Twitter or wherever, hurts a little to see. Because that rework was pre-CCU and so many more changes happened. Kensei's time on the spotlight was during the mid-farming meta, being probably the fastest mid-clearer that could compete with Lawbringer's ultra-safe clear. And for Warden, he used to be hailed as the strongest 1v1 hero, simply because he always had a proper unreactable mix-up in the form of shoulder bash. But he's not the only one anymore, and thus has fallen down in the rankings. And in Dominion, he simply lacks the team fighting presence, a role that many others fill much better. My point is that neither of the two is particularly bad, but both are so far from requiring urgent changes. Which brings me to my initial statement. The order in which characters should get their reworks is by how much their kit fails at doing anything really. Many were surprised why Conqueror was included in the last rounds of reworks. In the eyes of the common player, Conqueror works. He has a bash after all, an unreactable one for the vast majority of players. But he's absolutely useless at everything else really. Having a character that does nothing but stomp new and bad players and is extremely unfun to fight for all of them is an absolute eyesore. It has nothing to do with viability and all to do with having an outdated kit and just being an abomination of a hero. And those abominations should have priority. That's George, Shaolin, Highlander, and I guess Nusha maybe then. Heroes that do not function in the current game. Once those are updated, we can look and revisit the other heroes. Hopefully by that time we can get 6+ heroes in a testing ground all at once. Because a problem with singular hero testing grounds is also that many aren't just interested in it at all, and thus won't play it. With that said, the popularity of a hero will always play a role, especially when you ask the community. I knew that Warden is a community favourite, but the number in the poll still surprised me. So many people blatantly ignoring the big issues. It's all about themselves. As long as their hero is strong, it's fine. I mean, it's probably alright that people are easy to please when it comes to that. At least that's what I'd like to think. We all know they find something new to complain about within days of a rework releasing, because the big problem is also that reworks can feel outdated quickly the moment new mechanics get introduced. But if nothing new ever gets introduced, then people would complain that things get stale and nothing new happens. Game design must be a fun job. So much positive feedback all the time. Must be amazing. But yeah, no matter which hero they choose, there will always be people not happy. And like I just outlined for you, I'd be one of them if Warden and Kensei were the sole heroes in the next testing ground. Our opinions might all differ on who we want the next hero to be, but I hope we can somewhat agree on the ones that need it the most. Let's wait and see what they tell us in the next Warriors Den and what the changes will be exactly. And who knows, maybe it'll be a positive turn of events. We'll talk about the changes once we know more. Like I said, the main reason I made this video was the result of the poll and how it surprised me that many of you were actually okay with it. Not the majority, but still more than I expected. Feel free to elaborate on your choice down in the comments. I'd like to hear your reasoning behind it. It's not weird if somebody puts their own enjoyment of a hero ahead of somebody else's. It makes sense until a certain degree at least. Oh well, having said that, I hope the video was interesting. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.